every Sunday
for 60 minutes. We are free.
sharing passion,
Pushing
pushing the limits.
This is the New World Sim Racing GT3 Sprint Series.
You'd better set those pressures. It's round 9, Laguna, Seca. Each and every driver has mentally prepared themselves to challenge, to fight, to rise above their rivals and make a name for themselves on track. 10 rounds of action-packed racing await us all in the New World Sim Racing GT3 Sprint Series. Drivers, start your engines.
Hello, hello, hello.
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 Good evening.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Guys, we have a special guest.
It's round 9. And round 9 brings with it someone from...
Some say a community with a 9 in it.
Some exactly. Hello there.
Hey, that's actually really clever.
Yeah.
Oh, they pay me the big bucks, aka give all my money to fairs to buy another Lambo.
And we're looking at car number 9 as well.
Hello there.
Just wanted to say. Hello there.
Hello.
Good to have you in the booth. Well,
Hey, glad to be here.
the voice of 949 Sim Racing.
The has been, yes.
That
me.
has been
Always was, always has been.
a stalwart in the sim racing commentary realm.
Yes.
I was trying to think of fine North American, like aged fine North American things, but I can't think of any.
Nothing
So-
is finer aged than well.
You've determined that there's nothing fine or aged in North America.
Yeah, I
Good job,
guess.
sir. Anything fine or aged in North America, we probably just stole from another country.
Potentially.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
The jury's still
allegedly.
out.
Well, it's
I
good.
mean-
It's good to have you here, dude. I'm really glad that you're jumping in here, and you join us at Laguna.
Yes.
Yeah,
Everybody's favorite.
And not only is it Laguna, it's a damp Laguna, which is very unusual.
And
Yes.
it's pretty warm too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that it's warm, not shocking for Monterey, California, but the fact that it's like wet like this, that is pretty uncharacteristic. Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of wet races at Laguna in any way, shape, or form. So
Yep. No one survives. That's why. So,
No one survives to tell the tale about a wet race at
Nope.
Laguna.
nope.
I guess today we'll see who's going to be the first to do it.
To
indeed.
survive?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Fingers crossed.
The bronze split out there. Looks like we have just the 5 of them this evening, and all improving on their times right now, heading for the low 28s at the moment. Looks like maybe dip into the 27s. So yeah,
That's what I'm pulling for.
see
Going
what
for
happens.
27s.
So our big boss here with the Milo car. Not really improving on his lap time right now. Chris Turner is so far leading the bronze sprint. I have
Aerial
seen
view.
the lovely one, the Hey Baby. Ryan Wampler about to take over P1 provisionally.
And Dave Miller about to
Oh no, that was invalid.
increase on his lap time. And oh, what? Interesting.
It got invalidated. Something happened. I'm seeing a lot of wheels locking up now. I wonder if the track is getting slippier.
Moisture?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of green on the
We
overall.
have no plus or minus indicator on the clouds, so I'm hoping it stays fairly consistent through quali. I think the gold drivers will definitely hope that's the case.
Yeah, but you know, they're goal drivers, so like they should be ready for the craziness, and I want to see craziness. So
And we have seen our favorite kind of, what do you call it? The reverse grid dictated
Yep.
by Kunos.
back in Donington wasn't as severe as our Kyalami race, but still pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, the Kailami one gave a lot of people PTSD.
You know, as a victim, yes.
Well, when was the last time you were commentating a race at Laguna, or you know, or driving? I guess. When was the last time you were at Laguna? Full stop.
So we did a race at Laguna for the most recent season of Box 3. That was, I want to say, it's probably been over a month ago.
Okay.
But yeah, Laguna's a tough one. It's a tough track. I really like it because it's kind of it's kind of one of those textbook like old school US circuits where it's like, which for you Milo, it's gonna mirror a lot of what you see in like British GT stuff.
Yeah.
Very much that kind of like no big runoff areas, dirt and grass, gravel, that kind of thing to basically punish you if you go off track. So that's the kind of racing I grew up watching, and it's the kind of tracks that I like to watch cars go fast on because there's a lot to lose.
Oh, Carlson was up 0.6 there and lost it at the corkscrew. So
And right behind him,
David
David
Miller.
Miller loses it into the kink. Audi snap steer off
Yeah.
track and sets him back to pits as well.
Yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of people invalidate and the kink right before their corkscrew.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I'm noticing watching the bronze guys out on track is the braking zone into the corkscrew in these conditions is pretty tricky. You got that hill crest right in the braking zone. And with these wet conditions, I'm wondering if we're starting to notice a little bit of front lockup going into the corkscrew, because I've also seen a few people just barely make the left-hand portion of the corkscrew.
yeah, it's going to be one of those because the way the car lightens up when you go over that crest as well, it's hard to get it under control sometimes in the dry,
Yep.
let alone in the wet. So yeah, I totally agree. That could be the site of some deaths today. Good.
Deaths. Good. Oh, and Chris there slides off track following the corkscrew.
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
gonna say-
they're pushing, obviously just trying to find a few extra tenths, which you got to do. And yeah, it looks tricky out there. I don't think I've ever driven Laguna in the wet, to be honest, either. So
I would rather not, to be honest.
I think I would rather drive Laguna in the wet than in the dry. There's more opportunity to pass.
potentially, yeah.
Like there's,
Yeah.
there's no excuse to not have to full send. Like in the dry, you feel like you just gotta absolutely eat it around some of these corners, and just hope that your car stays. In the wet, everyone has to take it a little bit more cautiously.
We're just on board there with Ryan Wampler. He coming around the second to last corner up almost 6/10 and goes just a little too wide. That was, we know he has some pace in him. He might be able to move up to P3 or 2, maybe.
Carson Bungay left sector 1 up 2/10 and now is all the way up to 3/10, almost 4, as he is heading up towards the kink, trying to find that last one good lap to possibly overtake Chris Turner. Has a really nice kink and is currently up a little over 4/10. See if he can get through the corkscrew safely.
That looked late.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
very deep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just too deep. Just carrying way too much speed.
Yeah,
Had
that
it.
looks such a odd corner in the wet.
For sure. And now David Miller him and Ryan Wampler both on valid laps, both going to be their final laps. We'll see what happens here. Ryan Wampler was up a 10th, then lost it.
We'll see if he can make up some time coming out of the final corner. I've seen a lot of lost time there, so not a lot of traction for everybody else. It looks like he does.
Silver drivers leaving the pits now to go on their outlap. So obviously that is our meteor split, typically.
Yep. And David Miller invalidating in the corkscrew. Again, goes in a little too hot, loses the rear end, and goes off track.
So Chris Turner in the Only Farmers BMW M4 takes pole then for bronze.
In the Milo car.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about
You know it's going to be brought back up, right?
that. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, have you seen the delights of
Yes.
that car? Okay.
Yes, the
just
only
check.
farmers. Yeah.
The best car we saw.
Debatable.
The picture of your children look wonderful.
The
Oh,
melons.
his beautifully ripe watermelons.
Yes.
Can't confirm, but rumors that if you're on the ISS, you can see me on the roof of the car.
Sounds
Good
accurate,
deal.
honestly. I believe it.
I think not
That right
just
there
the
is
ISS.
some good advertising.
I need to grab some water. I have a cold, so I'm, struggling a little. I'm gonna grab some water. I'll be back in a moment.
Yep. Milo has the cold this time around, not me. So, thankful for that.
Jose Guzman loops it in the kink on his outlap.
Ooh, does he?
Trying to get back on track here.
Yeah, see, this could end up invalidating. So, well, I mean, he's got a pretty clear space behind him. He's like the last one.
Yep.
Now on track,
Our first
at least
car.
on this lap.
Yeah, our first hot lap is going to be from Michael Lukey. Oh, I was very close to invalidating.
Yeah, the kink. I think the part where you were talking about people were invalidating in the kink is I think they were going wide enough to where they were on. They were off track. They had their left wheels on the green.
Yep.
Yep.
Maybe their right tires were just about to go into the gravel.
Yep.
Yep.
It's that fine line in that corner of maximum time gained and off track for sure. It's tricky.
Definitely looks like these silver drivers are still trying to adjust to the changing conditions from pre-practice. It does look like people are breaking in a little bit too deep for a couple of key areas on this track.
Yeah, it sounded like during the practice session, people were creating a dry line actually. So I agree. I think it's a little bit wet than they thought it might be. So just have to adjust those.
A little moist
Those
out
brake
there.
markers.
Yeah,
A little moist.
a little. So
I
we
think people are
starting to
still-
see the time.
I think people are still trying to take the normal racing line into turn 11, and it's just not going to work. Like, if you try to carry that much speed and you try and brake in the same spot going into the hairpin, you're going to overshoot the corner.
Yep.
Been seeing it pretty systematically ever since qualification started.
So first lap's coming in. Joseph German to the top for silver. Currently 2/10 off of. Oh, as I say that, Dylan Beveridge puts in the new pole for silver. 1/10 off of Chris Turner with a 28.5. Joseph German just under a tenth off of him with a 28.66. With Mark Repson running up third. So, you know, you might start hearing the chants Chris to silver here, but we'll see how it pans out towards the end of quality here.
I do think that promotion is pretty much guaranteed. Chris and Carson have both proven themselves more than good enough to race with our silver split. Yep.
Yeah, I feel like Chris's badge on his race car can equal the color of some of his beard hairs. So.
Oh, and we do see Michael Lukey there improve on his lap time. Almost still a tenth off of Chris Turner. So Chris, either the track is getting a little moister, or Chris has really knocked it off the park.
Ryan Cody, nice time found on his previous lap, bumps him up to P5 overall with a 28.7 in the Mercedes. How is the Mercedes here? I feel like probably not its, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
I personally haven't really driven the Mercedes, so I wouldn't really know too much.
The Mercedes is pretty tail happy. Thank you for the follow, Vulcan Ryan. It is a moist track indeed. Evil.
I personally think the reason why Chris did quite well is he's what I would consider the right car for this track right now in these conditions. I think the M4 will do really well in wet conditions. Its TC and ABS systems are really good. It's also got a really good aero package. Not the fastest car in a straight line, but I think it's a good tool for these conditions.
Yeah, Ryan Cody. After we told him don't eat the wet curbs in the kink, he decided he could not resist that wet curb, hit it, and went off track. Immediately back to the pits and going back up.
So Michael Lukey dethrones Chris by half a tenth so far, and there's still time to go. So I've seen a lot of lost time on the final corner by a lot of the drivers.
I think final corner in turn 5, from what I can tell, seem to be key areas where people are. I mean, obviously also the kink, because again, like what Joey mentioned earlier, is that people are playing that risk versus reward game for trying to carry as much speed into the kink.
Yeah, so just rejoining here, looks like the Silvers aren't having it all their own way out there.
No. So
So
we are
far.
seeing the 28s come in. German Beverage Lukey have finally managed to get Chris out of the pole position there.
Do you see Jose Guzman up about 7.5 tenths right now?
Improves on the last corner, but it looks like he's not got the traction that he wanted out of it. So 7.5 tenths is going to be his improvement up to P5.
Yep, not too bad, not too shabby at all.
And Muff coming around, going through the kink right now in the McLaren. Again, pushing the limits there on the exit of the kink. Currently at 4/10 on his best here. See where he has left in the tank going into the final half of the.
Sorry, Brian couldn't be there. Oh man, Brian, we miss you. The infamous Brian Garza, of course. I noticed that Carson. Wow, Carson Guzman. Love it. I've done it. Carlos Guzman.
There's a third Guzman? Yeah.
Right after I say Brian, love it. Carlos
Just when you
Guzman.
thought 2 was too many,
Exactly.
there's a third.
The Carlos
Joseph German, improved his lap to a 27.9, so the first driver into the 27s. And
While I was
carry
too
on.
busy misnaming people.
Classic Ferris moments.
Love it. So Carlos Guzman hasn't yet put in a valid lap, and Barrett is also sitting this one in the pits. So I don't think we don't have any quali bans this time around. Or actually, we do have one, but the driver's not here. So Barrett really wanting to start from the back of the field, it looks like today.
in the GTR.
And
Literally the
GTR.
best car for Laguna, really.
Yeah, I'm the best at giving people the wrong names, man. I love it. I hate it.
Just looking at Moffat there. He is up half a second. He just lost some time through the corkscrew. See if he can regain it on the last couple of corners. He might get one more attempt as well.
Yeah, he will get another attempt. 50 seconds to go for the silver split. As long as they cross that line, they are good for another one. It looks like Dylan Beveridge is going to be the last person to cross the line in time.
So this lap from Moffat will improve his position up to second. So good lap there from Moffat. You love to see it.
Up to second. Joseph German improving so far, 2/10 on his lap time. This is going to be his last go. Moffat also already improving just a little bit in the first two corners.
Well, obviously you're very familiar with Moffat. He's had a good season, I think, here this year in the Macca. Obviously used to compete in 949.
Yeah.
Yeah, good guy and a good driver too.
Yeah, Crazy Rabbits Racing. Moffat is a really good dude. I've been lurking the New World stream, so I noticed he's had some really good races. I'm glad to see him having some success in silver. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in this race. He does overcook it a little bit too much into the kink, pulls off track immediately, doesn't want to hold anybody up, which is good. But second in silver, that's impressive. I mean, there's still some people that could set some times, but that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, German improving. Carlos Guzman was out there on a valid lap up, but is now off sideways in that AMG. Ryan as well, about to improve his lap by looks of it.
Yep. So Joseph German extends that lead ever so slightly. Ryan Cody moves up to P7, immediately moves off track, and Dylan Beveridge right now sliding his way through the final second to last corner.
And that brings us to our inflated gold split now. It's grown as the season has gone on, which is good.
It really has, yeah. I do like seeing the gold drivers. So even in the gold split, we've had like some really fast drivers and some so they're still trying to catch up. Nicholas today sleeping with his pressures. Where is he?
It was unfortunately movie night. I'm calling bullshit.
Oh, is it now?
Muff says his lap was a miracle. He has no idea how you did it. Well, don't worry about that, mate. It was a great lap.
I know how you did it. The definition of luck. That is what happens when practice meets opportunity. So you did it.
Dora.
I see first laps on low fuel, says German. I mean, well, certainly went okay.
Yeah, not
about
too
4
shabby.
tenths quicker than your closest competitor in silver. So if you keep that pace in the race, you could have a good one here. Staying alive is going to be the key, I think. That's...
Yep.
I wonder how many people are either qualifying overfueled or are going to actually race with overfuel, because that could make the car behave a little bit more sluggish, but at the same time too, it'll be a little bit more, it'll be easier for you to deal with the wet conditions in terms of like losing control if you're dealing with a heavier car.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm a big fan myself of overfueling in difficult conditions. That's exactly what I would do. I mean, the cars that the AMG is the one, I still have PTSD from a Spa 24 recently, but the AMG, I can only imagine, is a real handful in these conditions at Laguna.
I hear PTSD is kind of like what you get after going to Belgium. You just like go there and come away with PTSD.
So Mike Jackson sets the bar with the 27.4. A good season he's had too.
Yep.
The well-loved Mike Jackson. And Bad Moose, who won last week in his second race with the community, currently third fastest, as Mr. B goes in with a 127.3.
Aston, I think, is going to be another strong car in the wet, I think.
Yep.
I feel like the AMG is going to be a bit of a struggle bus. I think the Ferrari, the Aston, and the M4 will probably be safest bets.
It's that sluggish Aston out of the corners really helps in these conditions, right?
Mm-hmm. It does. It does. The car basically gets to corner exit and it tries to think about what it is. It's like, am I a toaster? Am I a microwave oven? No, I'm a car.
I got wheels.
Yeah, I'm
The
interested to see.
accelerator pedal doesn't sing happy birthday to you when you press it. It's weird.
I did want to mention earlier, forgot to pull it out while the discussions were ongoing. But Moffat currently sitting P4 overall in silver as of last race.
Oh, points.
Nice.
So doing pretty well himself. Yeah.
So after Blaine on his first flyer tries to see how high can an Audi jump, puts in a 27.8, so he's currently 0.48 off of Carl Big in the lead. I know Blaine is not having a good time on the Audi 0 TC Life in these conditions. He will probably die.
But Carl so far still first. No, never mind. Sakachi moves up to P1 with a 27.
In the Honda.
In the Honda. What a madman.
In the Honda.
Well, I mean, it's a good car for an Intercontinental GT track. I didn't figure it to be a good solid bet in the wet, but NSX isn't as bad as it is here as it is at other tracks.
Gotcha. I mean, he's had a really consistent season. I think the last round maybe he had a tough race, but he's been like right around third and fourth in gold every single race.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I've heard, like, really, if you dial in the pressures on the Honda for Laguna, it's like really spot on here.
I said the
So they say.
pressures. I just want to.
We need to send that clip to Welp so he can catch up.
Oh, I mean, I can play it here, I believe. Where is it?
This is an Alvarado
Classic.
soundbite. Yeah.
Do I need to have the stream unmuted for this?
No, I can do it straight on Discord.
I said the
Oh.
pressures.
My God.
Oh, that was his Laguna pressures.
TLDR, well, he was doing an SRO race at Valencia. His tire pressures were set for Laguna around Valencia.
Yeah.
Ooh,
They
Hutch
are,
right now up 6/10 going into the final corner.
Yeah, I've kind of been following Hutch. So last lap around, everybody was within a tenth of each other. Top four, that is. Hutch right now about to take over.
Hutch goes at
Yeah.
26.9. Look at that. Peter
He
Hutchin.
probably felt Ferris inside him and felt like, I need to impress his one true love, Ferris Sadie.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm kind of bored. I mean, the Maka, I just didn't expect it to be this strong around here.
Well, I mean, listen, the McLaren loves to be unsettled. Hutch on the normal drives like his car is ready to kill him in every moment, even in a straight line.
Yes,
So really,
that is true.
Yes,
honestly, it's the perfect match here.
Yeah. He does kind of do a bit of a P90X routine when he's steering the car.
Yes,
it
he
is.
does.
It is kind of fun to watch. Like if anybody has ever been, like if he wanted to do a CrossFit sim racing like crossover tape and sell that, probably would make some money off of it.
Yeah, like
Lane almost took it.
Yeah. And Mike
and then
Jackson,
Mike Jackson as well.
Yeah, immediately behind Blaine manages to improve. Blaine then puts it in the wall, so I guess he's done for his time in Laguna. I wonder if he's going to go for a one lap shootout. I don't know if the tires.
He is moving.
He is moving. All right. I thought that tires like now take a lot longer to come up to the temperature. I don't know if he's going to be able to really put a nice one in, but Mike Jackson right now.
Post 1.9, the tire behavior in the temperature window is a lot more sluggish.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
Big Macho Engine, Andrew Rados, currently trying to find some pace. He's sitting down in P6, 5/10 off of the pace, and still negative on his delta. He's just kind of struggling.
Mike
Probably
got
too
a
much golf this weekend.
Mike got a great entrance into the corkscrew. Unfortunately, it was at the expense of the exit, so he lost just over a tenth. Yeah, he was up going in almost 2/10, so there's some time there for him, but yeah.
Mate Zucacci currently was up 2 tenths as I started talking, loses it all in the corkscrew. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Sniper wins again.
Upper wins again. So David Funk right now around the final corner was up 3/10, is losing a lot of time on exit. Is going to improve just a little bit, not going to move up one position, so he's still going to be sitting right behind Joseph German. So German 100% deserving, honestly, over that gold position. Keeps this up.
So it looks like everyone should get another lap in.
Yeah.
Peter Hutch will come in as the final person around. So he's going to try to do his own Max Verstappen simulation where he is the last on track in qualifying to see if he actually needs to put in a banger or not.
Yeah. Cortez has left, yes. I did see his car disconnected actually a while back.
Oh, and he's
Is he? And he's back.
I show him back, yeah.
I'm very kind of like pro stop the count right now because I'm looking at the overall right here and the fact that you guys have half a second between effectively the top six, whereas we watched Formula One this weekend and half a second was the split between P1 and P2. So
skill issue.
yeah. So I mean, hey, you guys have got an entertaining setup here with 3 rows of the grid, but all within a half second of one another. So
Yep.
Yeah,
pretty
New
good.
World's better than Formula One confirmed.
Confirmed
Yes.
100%. So
That's what I heard, yep. I can confirm.
Andrew Rados around the final corner doesn't get the traction he wants. Is not really gonna improve much. Carl
Really too
Big,
much Cheetos over the weekend.
yep.
Too much weight.
Carl Big, the same thing. Mate, just even on his lap time, is not going to be improving at all. Blaine Hall around the final corner is gaining speed. He's just even again on his best lap time, and that is going to be it for the gold split for quali.
Yeah, Peter Hutch ended up losing it in the kink as well. Mike Jackson lost it early on into his final lap as well. So nothing changing up front.
And I think Blaine is not going to live to see the race. He just slammed it into the wall there.
I wonder how many times he's been hit by the engine bug when you wreck your car in quali right before the race.
Is that a thing?
Yes, you can front end collision your car, and then what will happen is when you go on the formation lap, it'll just like peak RPMs in first gear and just blow the engine.
Really? I didn't know that at all.
Yep.
Just Kunos things.
It's been a minute. I think it was like at the beginning of like 1.9 with like because I know that Sir Foch had it happen to him a couple times.
4 hours between quali and race. Is it enough time to rebuild the engine? I don't think so. So, realism from Kunos.
And the track
It's a simulation.
That's it.
track
Immersion.
did end up going too wet from damp during the qualifying session. So curious to see what it looks like 4 hours from now.
I think it's going to be pretty moist.
Wipers at like different tempos, like.
Yeah.
Please be a thunderstorm. Please be a. Damn it.
All right, when I got into Hutch's car to listen to the wipers, they moved over. So,
Grid walk time.
walk time. So a fairly light field compared to the beginning of our season. Milo, take it away.
Let's do this. Peter Hutch in the McLaren with a great lap at 26. So on the board, so good for him. P2, Mike Jackson in the Ferrari. Blaine Hall coming in at 3 in the Audi. Carl Big alongside him in the Aston Martin in 4th. Zucacci 5th in the Honda. Rados 6th in the AMG. Sauer in the Ferrari number 7. Bad Moose, last week's winner in the AMG, is 8th on the grid today. German in the Ferrari 9th. Funk 10. Moffat 11 in the McLaren. Robertson in the Ferrari 12. Beveridge in the Macca 13. Lukey in the Porsche 14. Chris Turner in the Only Farmers BMW 15th. Ryan Cody in the AMG 16 alongside Guzman. Jose in the AMG as well. And Bungay 18th in the Ferrari. Miller in the Audi 19th, Carlos Guzman in AMG 20th, Ryan Wampler in the Lambo 21, Cortez in the Ferrari 22, and Barrett in the Dinosaur GTR
Dinosaur. This is
23rd on the grid.
I gotta say, I love that livery.
Godzilla. Godzilla was kind of a dinosaur, right?
Yes.
Godzilla's Godzilla.
King of the monsters.
Yeah.
Liveries are
whatever you
pretty in this series. Guys do a good job with those.
Oh yeah, no, our submissions we get are really good.
Yeah,
honestly.
they're amazing.
And I just want to point out, so Barrett, just whipping out a livery for both the Guzman. Where is it?
Yeah, and like
In like a day.
20 minutes.
Yeah, a purple and a green livery for the Mercedes. They look awesome.
So, real quick check on the format for you guys. You guys are still doing mandatory pit. Tires are not required?
Exactly, yes. So it is a mandatory
Okay.
pit, no tires required. Kuno sets that to 25 seconds if you don't take tires, and 30 if you do. So our drivers have the choice between 5 seconds for tires or not.
Yeah.
And in the wet conditions, I assume we're expecting people not to change tires. Unless there's a dry line, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the more common consensus there of like no tires unless you really need them for some reason. You know, if your name is Nicholas Alvarado, then like you always need tires, but you know.
And you set the
everyone's-
pressures as well.
Yes.
Well, I mean, how many people are actually running tires pressured for Valencia at Laguna?
You know, maybe that is the big brain strat that no one's thought of.
Big brain strat. I love it.
So Hutch and Mike Jackson, what a front row at Laguna Seca in the wet.
In the
Exciting
moist.
stuff.
It's already moved from wet to damp as they are going around the formation lap. I see a driver on board Barrett from Ryan Cody. We'll have that up. a
After
few
lap
laps in.
one's shenanigans.
I think after lap 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Hopefully Ryan does not die. Ryan, I know you're
Just
listening.
Just don't put the camera on him until after.
Please, please.
And Ferris,
Come home to us, Ryan.
your turn one camera is ready.
All right.
Actually, it's technically turn 2, I guess. But
Oh my God.
Actually.
It's
Technically.
what's the name? Andretti.
the Andretti hairpin.
The Andretti hairpin. So as
I'm going to call it the Saidi hairpin from now on.
so it is green lights and our drivers are heading out. A good launch there from Hutch. A Carl Big on the inside already from Mike Jackson. So he's gonna try and take that spot already.
Very nice
So
and
far,
clean
yeah.
through the hairpin.
Turn 3's coming.
We've seen this a lot in New World, where in the wet, the boys do behave themselves on lap 1.
So far, so good.
So far so
Now the
good.
real question.
Yeah. Now the hairpin, the corkscrew is going to be the big one. That braking zone is going to change a lot with so many drivers next to each other. I see you do have that angle up.
Heading through the kink now is the leaders of the field. So far, so good on this opening lap.
As Hutch leads the charge through the corkscrew for the first time today. Everyone single file learning. Let's just take it easy, get through lap 1. You love to see it.
Very nicely done.
Now it's time for lap 2, where pure chaos will unfold as our guys lose their shit.
Not a single yellow flag. I'm so proud.
Yep,
There's still
I've
one
always-
quarter
That
to
is
go.
an accomplishment. Like, it doesn't matter who wins the race today. We all won.
Yep.
We did.
We
yeah.
all won.
I did see one contact. It was just like a door bang in turn 1 at the start.
No scratch.
But overall, we have only 4 contacts no yellow flags, so probably just a little bit of rubber racing.
Proud of you,
Yeah,
Love
boys.
to see it.
Look at the front of this field. Nothing between them at the moment as they get underway, and yeah, this could be a really fun race for all of those drivers in gold. Well, the whole field really.
For sure. Looking at the battles towards the back of the field here, silver, Joseph German already pulling a 2.5 gap to the rest of the silvers behind him, keeping up with the golds ahead of him. So, well done for him so far. Chris Turner in
It
the
looks
middle
like
of the train.
Robertson got around Moffat, it looks like, during the opening sequence. I think Moffat was second, wasn't
Yes.
he? In silver? Yeah.
Yes, it was.
So somewhere that switch took place. So
Probably
Muff
turn one.
staying with him. Yeah, Muff staying with him now, and Dylan Beveridge right behind as well. So that's for second in silver at the moment.
Yellow flag Ryan Wampler went a little too deep into the corkscrew and went off and just spun it. He is back on track. I don't think he made contact with anything, so
Side by
Got some
side
s-
for Sauer and Badmus going
Yep.
down the main straight. Badmus is gonna
Oh.
take that inside line. That car did not look stable at all.
No, that
Didn't look stable on the exit of turn 11 either, but he made it. He made it work. Made it work.
that kink flat out in these conditions in AMG scares the shit out of me.
Especially on the inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Zero room for error there.
Yep. So
But he got it done.
yeah, you love to see it.
Moffat takes the spot back from Robertson, and that's gonna let Dylan Beveridge as well get side by side.
Michael
into-
Lukey also
the
joining
five.
in with this one. Spicy at the front of silver right now.
Silver split, best split.
Silver split, best split. So
Although German's had a fantastic start though. He's pulled out a 2.98.
oh, the,
Mark Robertson
What?
is just DC.
that just
Oh,
but
he
he's still
DC'd.
there. What the heck? There's
That
first
was.
What?
Did you guys see that? Did he just come to a stop in the middle of the kink?
play?
I mean, it was
didn't
live.
know that. I didn't know that.
Oh, we got
ACC
more
got
deaths.
the,
We've
Irish-
got death in the corkscrew.
Oh.
Carson and Carlos.
Oh, I mean, we did call him Carson earlier, so I guess they came together.
Did Barrett managed to sneak through somehow without hitting Carson? Carson was moving a little, but we will review all incidents as always on a Tuesday night.
Yep, and let's see what happens. So yeah, Mark Robertson, that almost looked like iRacing News Sand of like insta stop. That was
It
wild.
was. I mean, we were live on his car as well, so it just came to a stop right in the kink, and I think everybody
Yeah,
got
he-
a close-up look at that.
So he did DC.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ah man,
sucks.
that's too bad.
So
Ryan Wampler going into the pits.
Oh, so Hutch loses the spot. He goes too wide on the exit of 5.
And he
And,
lost 2 spots.
He loses 2 spots as a result. Blaine Hall right now directly behind him. Mike Jackson inherits that lead. And
I mean,
at
I
the front
love
of the
this.
grid is-
Kachi and Rados there as well, all within a second of each other, and Badmos trying to close in on that grouping. So, what a opening few laps for the gold split.
yep.
And I do have that replay of the Carson and Carson
Let's see this.
contact here into the corkscrew.
Carson and Carson.
We call it the triple C play.
All right, go.
Carson into Carson in the corkscrew. So Carson Bungay right behind Jose Guzman. And Carlos just cannot get the car to slow down quite enough. Light bump gets the rotation. Scary moment here for Barrett, but no contact. Everyone is good. So just an unfortunate
That's pretty
situation there
unfortunate.
in the
Yeah.
corkscrew.
Just sneak your nose in just enough, and yeah, that happened. So, yep. Unfortunately for Carlos, that looks like it will be a penalty for Carson. Carson Husman.
I'm just imagining the Spider-Man meme of you.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is. Is it because the fact that I'm wearing headphones, I just can't think and talk without hearing myself, or
It's the headphones.
It's
Yeah,
probably
I
the
blame those two.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
turn
it's
it on.
Jose-
definitely not your fault.
Jose Guzman, in other Guzman news, moves past Chris Turner into 15th overall. Not in the same split, but Chris has got silver pace here, I think. So Jose getting the job done on the BMW there.
We do have a stop and go for Ryan Wampler, so looks like he has gone into the pits for his stop. I wonder if it was wrong tires initially, because we did see the yellow flag early on, lap 2.
So speeding in the pit lane?
Speeding in the pit
Definitely.
lanes. Yep.
Yeah.
I bet he probably couldn't stop if he was on slicks.
You know, shout out to Rados right now. He was struggling in qualifying, but he is managing to keep up with Mate
Yep.
still. So maybe he's just getting a little bit comfortable. He does have Uthman and Dylan Sauer behind him as well, though. So
Joseph.
That looked like a lot more traction out of the final corner than Mate, but it looks like he backed out just a little bit and gonna stick behind just a little bit longer.
Joseph German right up behind Funk now within 3/10. So a great drive from German so far. Leads the silver split by 2.7 seconds. And yeah, may have an opportunity to overtake the Lambo.
One thing I'm curious about today, especially with tires being definitely an optional choice, right? And Laguna being a very difficult place to pass. The undercut here is usually really strong. Who uses that to their advantage? Like, go no tires, go for the undercut, and like, does that help you?
I wonder if their tires are going to be okay with the line that seems to be starting to form, the dry line that is.
Yeah, the track conditions actually moved down to damp, right? So something for the drivers to keep in mind as this race goes on. We might get a dry line. There is enough cars to form it.
Do we know?
Laguna doesn't have many options of racing lines anyways, so that dry line is definitely going to form.
Do we know if did Lukey lose some time with the whole Robertson disconnect thing there? Because he was in the mix there with those guys, and now he's about 3 seconds back. Ryan Cody all over him as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He might have, because it happened like right in front of him, and that would spook me. Update up front. Mate goes wide into the final corner, allowing Andrew Rados and Uthman to get around him down the front straight. So Andrew Rados currently P5 with Uthman P6, and Mate now down to P7 with Dylan Sauer on his tail.
Yeah.
Look at this front three, man. Mike Jackson, Carl Big, Peter Hutchins.
Whew. Yeah,
Sweat.
This looks like it's going to be very sweaty and moist for them. Power went out for Robeson. That sucks. I'm so sorry to hear that. You did not kill anyone. I don't know if anybody clipped it, but it was a scary
I had heart
moment.
palpitations, so
Some people might have killed their underwear, but
Carlos Guzman, obviously recovering from that incident with Carson, is right behind Cortez now, looking to make a move on the outside.
Yep. And up front, I mean, Carl almost trying to take a peek at Mike Jackson into the corkscrew, sitting right behind him. Peter Hutch just behind them. Oh, that was close. That was close.
the Honda, is it Zakachi? Struggling to stay out in front of Sauer right now. He seems to have been systematically just kind of like losing pace relative to lap times since the start of the race. I wonder if it's just Honda conditions. Yeah, just Honda things.
Maybe
Andrew Rados must have took another hit of his Macho Engine enlargement oil, because he just threw down the purple lap and trying to pull a gap from Uthman behind and catch Blaine Hall ahead with a 27.5.
Dylan Beveridge moved past Moffat into P2 in silver.
P2 and silver. This battle has been going on for a while, and it looks like these two are going to keep going at it until the end of the race. It's
Macca
been
v Macca.
Yeah, and they've been swapping positions left and right every other lap. It's I've kind of been switching back to them. It's always at the back of the main straight.
Ran wide at the kink, and Badmus, Sakachi, and Sauer all getting past. So
he must have blame me for that one later.
Yeah, he will do it for sure. Yeah, he must have spit up the oil that you said he drunk.
Yeah.
Nicholas Cage, thank you so much for the follow.
Nicholas Cage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure to read out the numbers, man.
Sorry.
I mean,
What
it is
is
the
this?
genuine Nicolas Cage. Let's be honest.
Of course.
Yeah, like-
There's
Put
not.
the
Fan-
bonnet
fan of
back
New
in
World
the
Sim
box.
Racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There aren't
This is not John
123,000.
Travolta with Nicolas Cage's face on it. It's the actual Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
So, Muff deciding to go for the undercut. He has gone for the pits. Hopefully, no dry tires accidentally get put onto the car.
I'll also get the lap on board with Ryan Cody. That was redeemed earlier.
Oh, so Ryan's about to die. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, Ryan's about to die. I know he's looking.
Moffat has opted for the early pit, so after losing that spot to Beveridge, he's going to try and undercut his way back in front, I assume.
You're Nicolas Cage indeed, here to enjoy some wet conditions, sim racing, and support Carson Bungay.
Yeah, you know, that checks out. Like, you know, Carson is so popular, I could definitely see him being friends with Nicolas Cage.
Nick Cage, seeing as you're here, I have to ask you, why no sequel to Con Air?
So our first drive-through for Drac cuts to David Funk, Funky Town,
In the
Funky
wet?
Town on the track warnings with the DT.
In the wet?
That's
Oh.
impressive.
Yeah.
Listen, you can't stop the Funky Town.
That's-
all right.
Impressive, yeah.
Real quick on Muff in the pits. 1 minute 8.279 on the pit stop. So that's going to be kind of what we're using to measure
Yeah.
how people are
Exactly.
doing relative to the mandatory pit stop. We'll also be able to maybe gauge whether or not Muff took tires or not, depending.
Yep.
Let's see here.
Funky Town leaving the pit's going to come out in traffic, I think. He might
his-
find himself a gap,
No,
actually.
I think he's
His
found himself a
time
gap.
stop. Oh yeah, time stop was 33 seconds. So I would say yes, he took tires.
So the Audi of Blaine struggling to hold on to that group of three in front of him. I'm sure the Audi is not pleasant to drive in these conditions.
Absolutely.
Or ever.
So with that drive-through, David Funk drops down to P15 behind Chris Turner. Josh Barrett loops it coming out of the turn 3 and is now behind Carlos Guzman.
So this fight is now gonna go on. Hang on, camera. He's gonna stick behind Carson for a little while. Carson, God damn it, Carlos. Oh, somebody teach me names, man, or something. I don't know, man. I have to take a course or something. That's clearly not the Carson that Nicolas Cage is supporting as well. So the Carson that Nicolas Cage is supporting is right behind him.
So Peter Hutch has reeled in Carl Bick just a little bit closer. He is like on the tail of that Aston, which I can't imagine it's enjoyable to be behind the giant Aston and the McLaren in these conditions, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think it,
You know
it
what?
would be.
Mike ahead of him there will want that battle to get even worse because it will enable him to maybe pull away a little bit.
So I see there's a yellow flag for Cortez and a contact register with him and the real Carson Bungay, who apparently stood up and might have made contact.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
I love it. I love it.
Welps immediately regretting his decision. Oh, all right, I
Oh,
found
all right.
it.
Let's see this. So we do have replay up.
Yeah, so Cortez hits the curb, loses it a little bit, and Carson just has nowhere to go. Like, no time to react.
Really rams it in the back. Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt, and that's. I don't know if the downforce is really all that important in the wet. A bit, maybe.
Check up at the front. Does look like Big is hunting around for wet lines to probably try and cool those tires down.
Yeah.
So do you think some people might gamble on the dries if there's that much of a dry line?
I mean, I'm assuming it's possible. Maybe underinflated
Yeah.
dries. Maybe, I don't know. Like,
Maybe.
I'm
could
not
see-
sure.
I could see someone like Blaine who loves to take stupid risks would do it.
I mean, overinflated dries or underinflated wets might just be the call. So I think if it were me, I'd probably do Carl Big off at the kink,
Yep.
but he gets back on track with no drama. But I think maybe underinflated wets might be the call here. I don't know if the track's dry enough for slicks.
You're able to check the tires they got on, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you can go to
Let's see what they got at the front. Hey, and another yellow flag for Cortez on his own out of turn 2. Doesn't look like, or turn, sorry, 4.
We also have Carson Bungay and Carlos Guzman, which Faris won't be happy about. They were 2/10 apart, but you may have to say their names in quick conjunction again, which I know will be
Carlos
difficult
Carson.
for you. Yeah. Obviously, they've come together once so far already, but yeah, they find themselves bumper to bumper again. So we'll have to keep an eye on this.
Yep. Uthman has started to catch Blaine. He's within a second. So we'll see that battle start to unfold here while Dylan Sauer is keeping Mate Sakachi and that Honda honest right now.
I was going to say
Or
that
T6 overall.
Sauer versus Sakachi battle is heating up.
It is heating up, and and at the same time, further back, Carson and Carlos. I just saw them swap positions twice, so it looks like they are going to fight it out now.
Yeah, Carlos
what's
does
going
get
on?
the move done down the straight with that AMG power, and it's the move done.
AMG goes burr.
Ryan Cody currently 6/10 behind Michael Lukey. So those boys having a small little battle between themselves right now as well.
Find our current series and one-off events on the SimGrid. Yes, and actually related to that, it's probably the perfect time to mention it. We have a few series cooking up that are going to be announced soon on the SimGrid. Do we want to announce them
Finally
yet?
let them cook, you know?
Sure. Shall we?
Shall we?
I don't know, shall we?
shall.
Yellow flag for David Funk on the exit of the corkscrew.
And that hurts to see. So after the
And
drive-through,
he
that is going to be
elevated.
it for David Funk. He's going to call it a night and head on home. So let's we shall. I guess first thing coming up very soon. We have an iRacing LMP3 that is going to be announced pretty soon on the Discord.
Is that going to be broadcast?
I believe
think-
so.
I don't know, is it?
We'll confirm it. But that announcement should come soon.
TBC
Yeah.
on the broadcast.
For more details, please join our Discord. Go to the LMP3 series and tag Jaden Ledbetter. Make sure you do
Yeah.
at him in that channel, and he'll give you all the latest updates immediately.
He loves it.
Don't downshift too fast in the wet for your information. Thank you very much. Well, that sucks, Dave.
Yeah. So after, as well as the LMP3s,
Somebody clip that one.
Please
Yeah.
click.
That's another sound clip from Milo. We've got the gobble, and we got this one.
as well as that series, I'm not going to say it again. We have a return of a very popular series, which used to be known as M2 Mondays. It's now going to be known as M Tuesdays. Tuesdays, get it? M Tuesday.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Hutch versus Big is on right now. That was-
Welp has just left his computer. He can't take these puns anymore. He's had enough.
Absolutely wrong. I love a good pun.
Well, you did. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Didn't you enter M2 Mondays?
Oh yeah,
One-
I did
one- you
M2
did.
Mondays. The BMW M2 is the absolute undisputed best car in ACC. I will
100%.
fight anyone to the death on that one.
This is fact. Like, it's the pinnacle of motorsport racing.
I mean,
it's
it
too
is.
fun.
It's a spec series. It's a slow enough car that the racing will be close. It's a lot of fun. If people have not done M2s in ACC, you really should.
You should join us for M Tuesdays.
I I planted my face firmly between the ass cheeks of Paul Cantea at Alton Park. Like firmly.
Rumor has it the broadcast will be done by myself, Ryan Cody, and Barrett.
Oh,
for M2
nice.
Zone.
Lineup.
That's a good team. That's a good
Big
one.
Daddy.
So they had wanted to do some commentary.
Yeah.
And we we talked about that. That's the plan. So what I want to know is, will we see Faris and Joey in the M2?
I
Are you
definitely
talking
will
about
be.
The Joao Spaghetti Mobile? Possibly.
Yes.
100%.
I
will
would
be
love
joining.
to see it.
So, update on the field. So Carl Big from P2 decides to go for that undercut. He has 7 minutes to go before half mark. And is in the pits right now. I believe he's going to be coming out just in
Let's
clean
hope he
air.
selected the right tires this week.
Yeah, and that.
So some battles going on in the pro split, the gold split here. Andrew Rados has caught up to Dylan Sauer and Mate, still holding the purple lap as well in that Mercedes. Kind of surprising, but you love to see it.
Steven.
Yeah.
Wall's
love
just
it.
coming in hot.
You can't wait to... Nice. Can't wait to see it. That is an off track for Dylan Sauer, and that's going to let Rados just get past.
I feel bad for Dylan there because I tell you, he was having a hell of a battle with Sakachi for quite a few laps. So at the kink runs wide, and yeah, that's going to cost him a position.
It's going to cost him a position, but we're going to see Rados try and make that gap increase and try and get that move done on Sakachi as he eats that curve.
Moly. Oh,
And it's going to be...
It's going to be close.
he leaves Dylan the space going into the corner.
Drag race now. It's on.
Love to see it. Yep.
And here
Looks
comes
like Andrew might have gotten the better
exit, yeah.
exit here. Yep, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, and he uncontested for turn 2 for the Andretti hairpin. And is going to keep that spot. Let's see if this time around he can get that gap increased and start that fight for P5 in class.
Yep.
Further up ahead.
Cars.
Mhm.
Yeah. Uthman still not able to fully reel in Blaine. I don't know if it's dirty air just giving him issues or he's just trying to preserve his tires or has it. But still
Feel like-
trying to reel him in.
Maybe slowly reeling him in.
Yeah, and as we say that Blaine, that king did not look stable at all. He was sliding
That
all over.
Blaine did not look stable.
That Blaine did not look stable through the king. That Badmus did not look stable braking behind the Blaine.
Classic unstable Blaine moment here.
That's, I don't know if you guys saw how close Badmus there was to collecting Blaine just a little bit.
Mike
Blaine decides to go
Jackson
under.
into the pits. Race leader pits in.
Blaine Hall in the pits as well.
Ah.
Oh, quick pit stop checks actually. Carl Big in and out with a minute 9.8 for his pit stop, so a little bit slower than what we saw from Justin Moffitt. Carson Bungay was in for a minute 25.0. I'm assuming there were some repairs involved.
Yeah, that he
Most
was
definitely.
involved with that corkscrew incident with Carlos. So yeah, I'm guessing he took some repairs.
Yeah. Rados did manage to get a little bit of a gap drawn out from Dylan Sauer thanks to a back marker. Cortez went a little off in the hairpin.
Oh, Ryan
And-
Cody goes too deep at turn 2, and he's been chasing Lukey for about 15-20 minutes.
Yep, and now he's got Jose Guzman hot
He
on his
does.
tail.
AMG versus AMG.
Yeah, I was about to switch over to him. The gap was decreasing to Lukey ahead, and unfortunately now that
Went
means-
in too
Yellow
deep.
Too
flag,
deep. And
Blaine
a-
Hall.
Oh,
Did him and Mike Jackson just make contact?
what?
They did. What?
On the pit exit?
On the
Yep, pit exit, a hairpin.
I wonder what happened.
Let me.
We're going to need a replay of that.
Oh, we
bad
are
boy.
going to need a replay of that. I switched over to Blaine, and he was sideways coming out the pits. Peter Hutch himself now goes into the pits.
Oh. All right.
Minute
so,
4 on the pit stop for Mike Jackson, but with the contact, I don't think that the gains he would have gotten are going to translate.
So if you want to go the side by side, this is a hot battle out of pit lane here. They are literally inside of each other.
Oh boy.
So let's see what happens here. I'm assuming they
darn.
battle this. I think they go. Oh, they're side by side. This is a legit drag race right here between Mike Jackson and Blaine.
Oh, just enough in the.
Oh no. Oh, he touches some sand.
Oh,
Yeah. Nice save, honestly, by Blaine there.
really
So,
good save. Yeah,
Little touch, but
Wow.
that was a drag race.
that was
Spicy.
that was spicy, and we even got to have a little bit of skin on skin.
We did. I can't do it. I'm too sick.
Hang on, I'll do it for you.
So Andrew Rados completes his pit stop here.
Skin on skin.
Time stamps was 35 seconds.
So Carl Big meets Blaine Hall. So Blaine's come out in front of Carl.
Blaine's come
after
out in
that
front
pit.
of Carl, yeah. Peter Hutch has come out in front of Blaine and Carl. So Hutch just 6/10 now behind Jackson. Big just 2/10 behind Blaine. So it looks like, yeah, that slow pit stop for Carl really did impact him that much. And it was just the 1 second, right?
No. For Carl,
Yeah.
it was a 1 minute 8. Mike Jackson was a 1 minute 4. Pete Hutchings was a 1 minute 5.
So
Carl might
must
have him here though. Going down to the kink. Oh, Carl backs out a little bit. Allows Blaine just hung on to the rear end of that Audi as they head up the hill to the corkscrew.
And this battle is gonna keep on going now. Oh, this is some spicy action here, right here. Just the best.
I am keeping an eye on. So, hey, Ryan Lukey. Yep, we just. they just got married.
Joey. He's done it.
He's
So
done
him
it.
and Michael just got married.
Ooh.
So Ryan Cody does get the pass made on Michael Lukey on the front straight, heading down into the Mario Andretti hairpin.
Yeah, almost contact there for Carl and Blaine going into the final corner, and it looks like they're still gonna go at it. So Carl directly behind Blaine, right on his bumper.
Got a bit of a toe as well. It's going to run him a little wide though because of the conditions through the kink, and he goes for the undercut. Beautiful move
works.
by Carl. Overtake of the day right there, guys. That was beautiful.
That was beautiful, yeah.
And with that, Carl Bick also has set the new purple lap as well in the process. Following some updates, Mate and Dylan Sauer still have yet to pit. So we still haven't figured out the results of the other pit stops of the Gold Split until they get through theirs. Curious to see where they stack up with
The fact that B ran wide because he went through the kink, obviously dirty air, wet conditions, right in the toe, runs wide and still managed to get hold of the car in order to do that is pretty phenomenal.
for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
So
move
Mike
was
Jackson and Pete Hutchings, they're catching up to some back marker traffic. I believe that is Ryan Wampler in the number 11. Mike Jackson's going to want to try and clear Ryan as fast as possible.
Yep.
Yeah, Mike having a great race again here as well.
Yeah, it does look like
Update
Hutch has a
from-
better exit, though. Go on.
Update from the Barry Blackout pit garage, thanks to Bullet, our pit lane reporter here. Big is on 3 track warnings.
Oh boy.
Oh,
In the wet.
and we have already seen the drive-through, though.
What is going on? How do you gain time cutting the track at Laguna in the wet?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
And
Ask the
Andrew
spaghettis.
Rados has taken the purple lap back with a 27.4. He is currently in just open track, nothing around him, just putting
Ryan
in some
Wampler.
bangers right now.
Ryan Wampler has a bit of a moment out of turn 4, but Jackson and Hutchings clear him.
Miller with a spin. So Miller has had a spin. He's back on track now, though. Bad Moose. Did Blaine take tires? Do we know?
Looks like
Let me check.
No, he did not.
did not.
27
Okay.
seconds stopped.
Yeah, he did have a 103 from line to line, so he definitely made up that time somewhere. For sure.
Okay, so yeah, now Badmus, who, was trying to reel him in, now is right there again after the pits are done. So be interesting to see how that Audi copes on older tires as the race goes on.
All right, now we are starting to look at the undercut or lack of between Andrew Radis and Dylan
Ooh.
Sauer. Dylan Sauer currently
And-
in the pits right now.
And a dive there, or late braking for Badmus. He does give the spot back, does he? Not really, no. It still is a drag race between him and Blaine. That was deep.
That is the second time I've kind of seen that out of the AMG in particular. Just trying to outbrake the car they're chasing, and it just doesn't work out.
Yep.
Yep. And the battle coming out of the pit lane, Andrew Rados with another solid lap pulls ahead of Dylan Sauer, so he maintains that gap of about a second. So he did gain a little bit of time on Dylan through the pits.
It looks to me like Badmus did back out a little going into turn 1/2. So now they reset and they'll go again, and they'll have another crack at the whip this time around.
Yep.
Yeah. So just a real quick update on the stint times between Mike Jackson and Pete Hutchings. First stint, clear 2/10 advantage Jackson. Probably taking into consideration that moment Hutchings had off track. After the pit stop, though, there is 1.2 advantage Peter.
Ooh.
Spicy.
Yeah.
I forgot
And-
that Philip here is the stats guy.
Yeah,
Love it.
he is the stats guy.
Love it.
So
Hutch maybe preferring the car with fuel.
It looks like it. I see. So Barrett getting out of the way of Blaine. Looks like Badmus also didn't really have the run that he wanted out of the final corner. So Blaine is going to stay ahead this time around. Beverage with a yellow flag on the second to last corner.
Yep.
I wonder what happened.
And he's going to have
there.
Joseph German come up on his inside, backs out, leaves the space, and Joseph German's going to take that position thanks to the Dylan Beveridge mistake.
And it was an important position because this is a podium battle for a silver split. So second and third in class right now.
Actually, first and second, Jose Guzman and Barrett have yet to pit, so that could be
true,
the battle for silver split.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah.
Now, what did you say that the gap you needed from the leaders? What was the average pit from line to line? You said. Philip?
So the fastest has been Blaine. He didn't take tires with a 1:03.
Okay, so it looks like Andrew Rados and Dylan Sauer might be able to jump Mate here in the pits. It seemed like the gap was under a minute before Mate had pitted, so we will see what happens.
Paul versus Badmus is hotting up as they go through the corkscrew there.
It really is. And I thought Peter Hutch was just getting around Mike Jackson. It's close. So Sakachi starting to move now. Rados coming around the final corner with Dylan Sauer. A little bit of a flash there.
So Mate just left the pits. He's going down. Andrew Rados does have David Miller in the way here. This is going to be close.
Badmus makes the move at turn 2 on Blaine Hall.
Oh, we have missed
They're going
it.
to be side by side. And Andrew Rados is going to pull ahead of Mate. So Rados manages to undercut Mate. And let's see what he can do with it.
Ooh,
Nice, right? I don't know if you want to get a replay if you didn't see the Badmus Blaine Hall overtake. It was a good one.
Let us see that. Yeah, we were switching over to Mate right as it was happening.
While you guys are doing that, looking at the race leaders right now, again, pace advantage right now, clearly in Hutch's domain right now, but somebody who's running equivalent lap times to Mike Jackson right now, Carl Big, and he is not that far away. He's keeping them in touch.
The
And
replay's
I do
up.
have that overtake here from Uthman going down into the the Andretti hairpin.
Blaine goes a little wide, and Uthman just puts his car right where Blaine doesn't want it. A beautiful move there.
The door opened, yeah.
Door open.
The door opened and through he went. So yeah,
Through
it's,
he barged.
looks like the Audi. I mean, he's already 2 seconds back. Is it 2? Yeah, over 2 seconds back from Badmus. So the Audi looks like it might be even worse on used tires.
Either that or Badmus really has some pace now
True.
going into the second half of the of the race. I wonder if he's gonna now put in the purple lap, and now that he has some clean air in front of him.
And small update: Andrew Rados is catching Blaine Hall. So after that move from Uthman, Blaine lost some time last lap, and Rados gained 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, I mean the
Or
average
2 seconds.
between them is pretty staggering right now. Blaine Hall, after 7 laps, is averaging a 29.898. Rados is a 27.797.
So Rados looking for that top 5 right now as he chases down Blaine Hall heading up into the corkscrew.
Also, just want to say, so Chris Turner in the Milo car, catching Michael Lukey there. Doing a really good job there, keeping lead for bronze. He has quite a gap to Carson Bungay behind. Even though we do know that Carson did get affected earlier on and fitted for repairs. A yellow flag for Beveridge again. It looks like he's not really having a good time there with the car.
He was, by the time I switched him, he was back on track. I wonder if he just ran wide at the kink a little bit.
I do wonder, yeah.
So
Rados is now a half second.
Yep. Andrew Rados with a really nice exit out of the final hairpin here. See if he can get a run going into the Andretti hairpin.
It looks like it's PTSD for Blaine Hall all over again now. It's
Another AMG.
Another AMG trying to make its way. It doesn't look like Andrew does stuff his nose inside there. And hey,
Sakauchi is hoping to get in on this too.
Yeah, yellow flag for Jose Guzman in the kink. He is back up and running now, heading down to the corkscrew.
Yeah. So this battle up here is really getting more and more intense there. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, Rados all over the bumper of Blaine's Audi.
And I think it might be coming down to the tire decision. I think not taking tires for Blaine, everyone else taking the tires, and
yeah, and also I do know that Blaine is running 0 TC on that Audi because apparently the TC is terrible on it right now. Whatever Kudos has done, and he is
rotates.
He turned right instead of left.
I mean, 3 rights do make a left.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that car really doesn't look.
Both of
right
the
now.
Audis do the same thing.
Yeah.
Do we see
the exact same thing? Yeah.
Oh my God. What has Kunos done? This is rigged.
Andrew Rados getting a huge run out of the final. He is finding so much time in the final hairpin right now in this Mercedes, and already starts to open up the gap for Mate again.
I mean, it's a car with grunt. Like it can really V the corner at turn 11 and get a good exit and just basically just hulk its way into turn 2.
Yeah, and as we've been watching this battle, Carl Big, as Philip was saying, with his pace, he just dropped up that purple lap a couple laps ago with a 27.1, which was 0.3 quicker than Rados's previous purple.
Yeah, and Hutch is losing pace relative to Carl Big right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, and Hutch has dropped back 1.8 seconds from Mike Jackson as well. So.
Hutch's last lap was a 29.1.
Yeah.
Invalid. So it looks like he has gone off track somewhere.
Yep.
Big oof.
And didn't miss that.
This is wet Laguna best racing.
Honestly, this is so much more exciting than dry Laguna.
Yeah.
I'll fight anybody that says otherwise.
Like it has.
There's a lot of people that are going to say otherwise. You're outnumbered. I'm sorry.
No, it's better.
But it's okay. They can be wrong.
I'll fight you.
And we can be
Exactly.
Right.
Sounds good. We'll test this on Ultimate Battle Simulator.
Hutch goes into the dirt.
Paris versus everyone else.
Hutch goes into the dirt on the exit of turn 1 on approach to turn 2, and it looks like the Maka is being very temperamental with him right now.
Yeah.
Back end is all over the place.
Just McLaren things.
Nicholas Cage says Carson is listening to Davy Crockett audiobook narrated by himself. This time is coming. Yes. I love it.
Did look like Carl Big
right now.
Did look like Carl Big had a moment in the dirt on the exit of 5 as well as he's trying to chase down Hutchings.
He did. I don't think he lost a lot of time, but so pretty fortunate because that can really bog you down.
Yeah, and it does look like he's
exit.
sliding in the on the exit of 7.
That's a DT for Carl Big.
That is the DT.
There it is.
He gets that final warning.
It was at the
Must have been
kink,
in the
right?
kink,
Yeah, it was. I think the rear wheel just
How
went
is
a
that
little
a
bit.
warning? He was sideways. That
Might have
sucks.
still been going faster.
That sucks.
Slip angle.
Yep, that was the SRO line. That's why it was quicker.
He's gonna go
And he's immediately
straight.
going to dive into pits to serve this. He's going to lose a lot of time. I think it was like 24 seconds from when I saw the last DT. So he is going to drop probably down to around P10, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, that end of a beautiful ride so far.
Yep.
You hate to see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
This does release the pressure a lot for Peter Hutchings. Let's see if he can find some pace to catch back up to Mike Jackson, but he can at least breathe knowing that he now has an 11-second gap to Uthman behind.
Yeah.
Yep. So Carl now
Just
just coming around.
Stepping away for a minute. I'll be back.
So he comes around, actually in front of Blaine Hall, so still in P7. Blaine really losing a lot of time there with the Audi.
Yep, with that full rotation at the corkscrew, lost him a lot of time.
Yeah, a lot
I
more
mean, the
than
tires
than
cannot be
expected.
happy now after
Oh,
sliding
absolutely.
that way. He has a moment out of turn 4. I mean, it's just the rears are not gripping up for him anymore.
Yeah.
Blaine has been the guy this season to, while they might not be the most ideal gambles, he's still taking these big gambles to try to find these wins or better results.
I wish we could set it to 10 seconds or 15 seconds less without tires. That would make it a lot more interesting. I think we'd see a lot more people.
I just wish we had the power to modify what the pit requirements were, just by and large. Like, I feel like if you had a mandatory fuel stop where you had a certain amount of fuel that cars would have to hold for the length of the race, but it's more fuel than you would actually need to finish, then people kind of have to take a stint where they basically put ballast in the car. I think it would make for very good racing, especially with the limited format options we have in ACC.
I think
for sure.
I think Kunos wouldn't appreciate that.
I mean,
They want it their way, and only their way.
We just watched there the Battle of the Guzman, and Carlos gets ahead of Jose, with Jose almost sliding sideways and taking them both out.
but
So-
not Carson.
Not really
Not
sure
with Carson.
what happened, but Peter Hutch has found the pace.
Oh,
He is now
right as you
5'10".
say that, he almost loses
Pow,
it.
pow.
He almost loses it on the exit of the corkscrew. That car looked
Yep.
ready to go left.
Yep, that gap was down to 4/10.
I mean-
Mike Tyson. So, Mike, I'm waiting for my check. Thank you.
I think the from what I'm seeing from the data, I'm not so sure Hutch is finding pace as much as Mike Jackson is starting to drop time. Like his last lap time, he did get back up into the 27s this last lap, but he was in the mid 28s last lap, and that gave Hutch a really good opportunity to close in a little bit. We'll see how this works out. They've got traffic to navigate. That's probably going to be a factor.
Yeah, so that is Jose Guzman right in front of them. It does look like Jose's not really fully in control of that car. It looks like it's quite a bit of a handful there. And the gap increases to Mike Jackson from Peter. Peter's probably not going to be too happy about that, but is going to now start to try and make his way back up ahead. A yellow flag for Barrett at the kink?
At turn 5.
Yeah, Japan called and said they needed Godzilla back, so there he goes.
And he's left the server, so it looks like he didn't really enjoy his time there in the Godzilla. 2/10
Mate, yeah.
from Mate
Catch
to
it.
Rados. Yeah.
Yeah, currently our closest battle. Joseph German's actually 6/10 off of Blaine Hall right now as well. And then Moffat has Ryan Cody within a second. So those are our closest battles at the moment.
So it really looks
Just
like
seems-
about Audi is either really not good here in these conditions, or that gamble for the tires really did not work in his favor at all. I think it's probably a bit of both.
It's a bit of both, but then also running into that situation where he had that spin at the corkscrew. Like any grip level that was left on that car is
gone,
now
yeah.
gone.
Yep.
Yeah, Carlos Guzman has a moment out of turn 2 and turn 3. Again, it's just one of those situations where it looks like the car is just not behaving at all for him.
And it looks like German did get around Blaine Hall after the corkscrew. So Blaine really dropping right now.
I see Hutch has closed the gap to Mike a little bit. So it could get spicy for Mike the last 12 minutes.
Yeah, I also do want to point out, so the battle for the standings overall, Blaine Hall currently leading at 295 points. Mike Jackson in third, 276, and Luis Castro is in second, who's not attending today. So Mike could potentially jump to first with this.
Luis not contending because he didn't want to go to platinum.
He unfortunately did have a case of Laguna that he was attending to.
Definitely, yeah. Ryan Cody now getting to the back of Moffat. So I think this is. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to jinx it.
Yep.
I'll say it after the race.
The battle for P3 and silver is on.
Laguna Humeda. It's such a rare track to race on.
Laguna Matata?
Laguna Matata, yeah.
It means the pressures.
I said the pressures. So this battle between Mate and Rados is going to keep on going on, and Hutch is now also back down to under a second, so he is catching up to Mike Jackson further up ahead. So we have two battles here in the gold split. Ryan Cody 3/10 off of Moffat is our third battle currently ongoing in the race, and then Chris Turner still just under a second from Michael Lukey, has been the case for the past 15 minutes. Looks like that's going to keep going on.
And I think now we can start saying that fatigue is probably setting in on the boys. Yeah, we're used to driving an hour. An hour at Laguna is tiring. An hour of moist Laguna, probably just another level of tiredness, honestly.
It is the best. No, I actually hate Laguna, personally. That is my opinion.
Where to hate something first. So.
Interested to see if Ryan can get the move done on Moffat here, because I know Ryan really likes the wet racing.
Yes.
So he's right around 3/10 again. This is an interesting battle.
It really is, yeah. Looks like Carl, he was starting to catch up to Dylan Sauer up ahead, but has lost a lot of time on the last lap. He's probably going off track again. I wonder if he has another set of DTs or warnings coming up. Hopefully not another DT. That would be atrocious.
Justin Moffat has a off-track moment at the corkscrew, and Ryan Cody's going to make his way around.
Here it is. Ryan gets it done, and I think he'll be a tough man to get that back from in these conditions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seca TV Rados 2/10 in that battle as well.
Yeah, I think Mate's looking really good in Sector 1. It seems like he's getting a lot of time on Rados during Sector 1, but Rados with the grunt of the Mercedes is just pulling away once he gets through the corkscrew and all the way through.
Yeah, it does look like they are catching up to Badmus, though, up ahead.
Which will make things interesting.
Yeah.
So this will be for a podium position in the gold split, so, definitely a battle that Uthman will want to have, and the boys behind will definitely want that position. But then you have Rados in the unfortunate position of being offensive while also being defensive.
Yeah, but it looks like Rados is not really having to defend all that much. I say that, and Mate gets a really good run off the final corner and almost gets side by side with Rados. I don't think he's gonna go for the move. So Rados gets to still take the normal racing line. He's not really defending the corners all that much. So he is catching up to Badness thanks to that.
For sure. I think he's, again, heavily relying on the grunt of the Mercedes on the exit.
Yeah.
So he can focus still on ahead and not so much on the defense.
Yeah, and he does have to get around. So that was Jose Guzman who moves out the way. It does end up slowing Badness just a little bit, but Rados is also going to have to take a very shallow line into 7, or not. They get around just in time, so good job on Jose there for giving them the space. The gap did shorten between Rados and Badness, and it has extended itself back to how it was before Badness had to get around him. A yellow flag for Carlos, just sideways. That is... I thought we were going to look at a very bad rejoin, but he stopped accelerating just in time. Well done.
Another yellow flag for David Miller. Audi things in turn 3, that right-hander. Very deceiving corner. I think probably one of the most challenging corners in the track, in my opinion.
Further back, Silver Moffat looks like he's not really having that great of a time in the second half of the race. Goes off track, and Lukey immediately
Lukey
behind.
Followed him.
I thought we were about to see Lukey get the pass done, and
Lukey
very
followed
lucky
him.
for him.
Managed to save it though. Kept that Porsche almost in a straight line. Gets going again pretty quickly.
Yeah, and the Milo-only farmer's car gets to move ahead of both drivers there.
Yeah, and Ryan's going to be happy he now has a nice cushion, especially with Chris behind him. As Mate takes a quick look momentarily on the inside of turn 7.
Doesn't really get the run on that Mercedes, so he's not really able to put himself side by side going into corners to really get them.
This is a really good battle, though, between these boys.
Yeah, the gap to Badness, again, shortening. It's just under a second right now. Going into the corkscrew, so 6/10. Rados gains some time on Badness. It looks like this is about to become a 3-way battle. There's only 5 or 4 laps left in the race. Where is their race leader?
Yep, they just crossed the line, and still that gap's within a second, but not much of a battle quite yet. Just keeping each other honest.
Jose Guzman, yellow flag. He's off in the wall at, where is that?
That is in between this penultimate corner and the final hairpin.
Yes, it is. So, going for a spin. He's back underway, though.
Going for a spin. And a little swim.
Just trying out the spin cycle.
Looks like Cortez also on the same corner, yellow flag. He's facing the wrong way. Looks like they're starting to really struggle there. Not really much they can do.
Guys, what a drive so far from Mike Jackson. 1 second lead right now over Hutch. Once he took the lead, he's not looked back. So, stellar performance so far from Mike.
Absolutely.
Kind of wondering if Mike has some pace in hand. Just able to keep Hutch just kind of in reach and not really feel too much pressure.
Yep. Maybe. I mean, the gap closed, but it's opened up again by about half a second. So 1.6 right now.
And this battle for P3 should be clean racing all the way through until the end of the race, possibly. The gap to the next back marker is quite substantial. So this could be just them 3 battling it out to the end here.
Battling it out. It looks like Uthman there really taking a little wider line. It almost looked like Rados was going to start taking a peek. Also, I just want to say Dylan Sauer just kind of sitting behind, patiently waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
Quick check-in on the recovery drive from Carl Big, up to P7 now.
Yep, so he's moving.
13 seconds back from Sauer, so...
Nicolas Cage's favorite driver going off on the out of turn 2 and 3. Looks like Carson's not really having that great of a drive. He is still in P2, and here we go with Mate trying to take the inside, going into this corkscrew. He's not going to get the run that he wants yet again. That Mercedes really making itself hard to pass.
honestly though, to keep the car that close going into corkscrew, really good precision braking from both
definitely.
drivers, really,
sure.
behind Badmus there, because it ain't easy. It really isn't, even in the dry. So,
Did you say it's not easy being cheesy?
I mean, I thought about it. I thought about saying it, but then I'm like, no.
Oh, love it.
So-
and Mate, this time 1/10 off of Rados. He is going to get a run. Rados is going to take the defensive line. I don't know. Again,
It's
Mate
that
doesn't
kink
get
at
it.
turn one. It really takes the pace out of the run, you know? In these conditions, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that the kink at turn one, I think Rados is setting up Mate for a dummy into turn two. Like, he takes the
Yeah.
inside at the kink, but then he lets the car push wide over onto the natural line. I think if I'm Mate, I follow him into the kink and then hold the inside line under braking into turn two.
Yep, sure.
It did also look that Rados did go a little wide on the going into the second part of the hairpin. Mate almost had a chance to make it through, but
So
not enough to capitalize.
Lukey got past Moffat, and then Moffat ran really deep into the last corner, trying to get that spot back. So, yeah, it was a close one. He had to take evasive action, ended up in the grab.
Our leaders, they're going to come around, so not quite enough to be on the final lap. So there's going to be one more after lap. So we are on 2 to go, and they are catching Ryan Wampler at back marker heading into, well, they'll probably see him in turn 3, maybe turn 4.
Yep. Further behind, Ryan Cody and Dylan Beveridge fighting for P2 in class in silver. Ryan really closing that gap. We did see Beveridge go a little wide on the exit of 2, so Ryan almost gets this move done. And is
Chris Turner also within touching distance of that battle.
An update on the podium battle here. Looks like Mate had a little bit poor exit out of the hairpin, and the Mercedes were able to run away from a little bit, so that gap's up to 7/10. It was 8/10. And yeah, I think Rados is probably hoping for an opportunity into the Andretti hairpin, because Uthman tends to take a wider line for the second portion of it.
Yeah, this battle honestly has been fantastic, amazing to watch. And it looks like Rados almost takes a peek there on the inside of the corkscrew. Badmus really just keeping that lead.
I mean,
Barely.
just keeping that car under control. Like like he was about to start sliding and managed to keep it going straight. So congrats to him on that one.
Mike Jackson enters the final lap of the race. Hutch 8/10 back. So Hutch has closed the gap a little bit. Mike keeps it steady though. The pace he's shown today, he should be able to bring this home.
Yep.
Final lap for all our drivers, starting Rados, Sakachi, and Badmus still fighting for this lead. 3/10 between each of the drivers. And a yellow flag for Guzman. Jose, who's doing some donuts there. And
Yeah,
Blaine almost losing it right behind.
This is going to be challenging too, because, you know,
Ryan Cody made the move on Dylan Beveridge, got past him and is now second in silver. I didn't see the move. We may want to take a look at that.
Let's try and get a replay of that. There's 1/10 now between all of these drivers for the lead. Rados gets the inside line going into the kink. Turn 7. Is he going to be able to?
They're going to go side by side.
They're going to go side by side a little wide. And
Sakachi's lost it. Oh, my word.
It might have been contact.
There was
contact. There was not. No contact between.
I don't think there was contact.
And Mate. Mate just loses it, unfortunately.
Yeah, Mate loses it on his own. Almost contact between Badmus and Rados. And
Dylan Beveridge, fighting control of the McLaren, has lost the position. He was chasing Cody, trying to get that spot back. Lost the car. And Chris Turner got through.
Ryan gets the move done. And that is going to be
Jackson holds off. Yep, Mike Jackson holds off Peter Hutch for the win. Andrew Rados gets it done, heading up into the kink. does not back out, says you go, I go. They go side by side into the kink, manages to keep it for his Peppa, and
Gets a podium.
brings home the podium.
It is a podium. Sakachi comes back in 6th. Carl Big looking at that spot almost is like
very nice.
very nice. Yeah, almost gets
Joseph
another
German
spot.
will cross the line and win silver at Laguna, so he'll be happy with that. Good drive from Joseph today.
And I found the pass that did it for Ryan Cody into the
Let's
kink.
see the replay.
And Dylan Beveridge actually gets a little loose on the exit, just the McLaren, doing McLaren things, and Ryan gets the job done, heading up into the corkscrew. Gets ahead, gets under the braking,
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
gets it to stick. Beautifully done by Ryan
Yep.
Cody there to snag, what is that, P2, I believe.
P2. Ryan snags
Yep.
P2. Chris Turner directly behind wins the bronze class. Carson Bungay already
10th
finished his
overall.
lap. Yeah, 10th overall for Chris. Carson Bungay already crossed the line, P2. And it looks like David Miller is going to come in 3rd.
Dylan Beveridge did end up taking P3 in silver then, so good drive from him as well.
So fantastic drive, honestly, and the last few
Man.
laps were absolutely amazing as well to see all the action starting to...
Yeah, there was a lot happening there.
Yeah. Right, and get. Thank you also for the follow, Felix Lusha. A little bit of a drift show there from Michael Lukey. Honestly, one of the better drifts I've seen so far. So back to the timetables. Overall, Mike Jackson, Peter Hutch, and Rados for our podium in gold. Joseph German, Ryan Cody, and Dylan Beveridge for our podium in silver. No one saw what you did in the pits now. We'll look back at it. And then Chris Turner, Carson Bungay, and David Miller for the bronze class. Good.
GG.
That was a beautiful race.
That was amazing. That was great racing across the board.
That was great racing, and I do want to say, hey baby.
Why would you say
And-
that?
Honestly,
I don't know.
only 12 total
for God's
contacts that race. And honestly, I don't think there's a lot of like major incidents from. There's only I think very small amount of actual major contacts that caused in.
Yeah, so far, I mean, our wet races are usually our cleanest races. We keep saying it jokingly, but it's true. And honestly, the boys have proved it out there. It's been a fantastic race to watch today.
Yeah.
It was a very clean race. Like really from start to finish. There were a few moments that were kind of sketch, but by and large, everybody kind of conducted themselves quite well.
That's what we want to see. Good stuff. Yeah,
Absolutely.
good stuff. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
It was a lot of fun. It was fun to be back in the booth and fun to hang out with you guys and fun to just look at some data. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Love to see it. So that will be our second to last round for this series. Come join us again next week for our
Where
final.
are we going?
We are going to Kyalami for a
South
sunset race
Africa.
at Kyalami. So Sunset Corner is going to be very noticeable.
Yep, I will have to miss the finale, but I'll be watching, hopefully. So.
And hopefully you
hoping
guys will
for a
be
good end to
watching
the
too.
season.
Oh, yes. It's been honestly a fantastic season so far. Can't wait
Yep.
for the finale. One last race at Suzuka. Meet us here next week, 8 EST.
At Suzuka. What are you talking
At Suzuka. That was last week. What am I... Even tracks. Oh my
You
god.
trash,
I can't. I can't.
I have no words.
No need to see
I
it.
mean, yeah, Kyalami looks a lot like Suzuka.
Yes, so meet us next week for Kyalami. And yeah, and join our Discord for 2 series that are about to start. With that,
Yes, sir.
have a good night, everybody.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Every Sunday for 60 minutes. We are free.
sharing passion,
Pushing
the
the
limits.
pushing the limits.
This is the New World Sim Racing GT3 Sprint Series.
You'd better set those pressures. It's round 9, Laguna, Seca. Each and every driver has mentally prepared themselves to challenge, to fight, to rise above their rivals and make a name for themselves on track. 10 rounds of action-packed racing await us all in the New World Sim Racing GT3 Sprint Series. Drivers, start your engines.